Apple blocks xCloud, Suicide Squad game, your weekly gaming news recap, and cookie review coming right up. I'm gonna eat you in my mouth. Welcome back to Sodi Pop right here on YouTube. Today is Friday, August 7th. I'm Maddie, and this is your weekly gaming news recap and cookie review. If you're looking for more in-depth information, check out Chatty with Maddie every Monday and Wednesday for those particular days' news. And don't forget to check out Reflections with Maddie, my brand new show. With that being said, I have my drink. Let's chat. Now remember, you can find all the links to everything in the description if you're looking. We're going to start off with the recap and gaming news today with Summer Game Fest. So we have this PlayStation Sony State of Play that happened yesterday. We'll be going over that shortly. Night City Wire is coming up on August 10th. That again is Cyberpunk 2077, their new news format. Again, we did have one recently a couple weeks ago. We have DC Fandom coming up August 22nd, a full 24 hours of DC news. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. And then Gamescom 2020 opening night live starting the 27th, going all the way until the 30th. We did see Pikmin 3 Deluxe got announced, and it will be coming October 30th for the Nintendo Switch. It's a full $60 game. This will be a re-release of what we saw on the Wii U title with some extra missions, co-op throughout the entire game. Hopefully it's worth that big $60 price point. Also, we have PS4 somewhat confirmed, the PS5 conversion. Lance McDonald, who is in himself a YouTuber, does a lot of Soulsborne games, so Bloodborne, Dark Souls on YouTube, has said there's been some confusion about this in the past, and I can clear it up now. The PlayStation 5 can run all PlayStation 4 games without per-game whitelisting. Sony continued to test titles, but the system will not prevent you from launching untested games. If that is true, that is excellent. Apparently this tweet was fully deleted, so maybe he revealed something he wasn't supposed to. The fact that it's deleted shows me that it probably is true. That is fantastic to hear, because whitelisting killed the PS Vita TV. You had to be whitelisted for all these silly games. Also, PlayStation news. We saw the PlayStation blog answered the PS5, PS4 peripherals. So yes, the DualShock 4 will work on the PS5, but for PlayStation 4 games. So really everything will work on the PlayStation 5 for the most part. Maybe some third-party controllers would have some issues, but the long and short of it is that you're not going to be able to play new PS5 games with a DualShock 4, as is tradition for new consoles. Obviously, Microsoft is going against the grain and allowing you to play with really anything you want. Also in PlayStation news, possible PS5 Pro coming with multi-GPU. We did see a patent come out. I talked about this article from Derek Strickland coming out of Tweaktown. Now really, they had a patent for a multi-GPU type system. So this could either work over the cloud with PS Now. It could work in the actual gaming system, adding a second GPU, making it a bit more powerful for like a PS5 Pro. It could also work over the cloud, but with a smaller stick-like device that you would stick in the back of your TV, and that would help run PS Now as well. So there's many options of how this could be handled. Again, this may or may not be hinting at a PS5 Pro. We also heard previously that there wouldn't be any mid-generation upgrades, and that these generations might even be shorter. Anita Sarkeesian also launching an online harassment hotline. Just a quick little update on what that is. So not only on online harassment, but if you're having any issues with any gaming related topics, like if you're a YouTuber and you're suffering some burnout, you can call this number. Now it starts out with a text message to 23368, and they can refer you to the proper resources. Now this will be open from 4 p.m. Pacific time, August 3rd. That'll be from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday for right now. So go ahead and check it out if you are so inclined. And if you haven't yet, before we get to the big news happened Thursday and Friday, please like, follow, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you would like to see from me in the future. Again, I am expanding a lot of stuff. Next week, I finally have my desk coming, which is going to affect a lot of what I can actually do, because the desk right now doesn't work for live streaming. So I'm very excited to get back on that train. Now, to begin with the main news, we saw last night, I did tweet about this, that Trump's executive order against WeChat and TikTok, a lot of people were speculating that this could affect gaming because Tencent and other owners of the WeChat and TikTok have a big stake in gaming. To clarify, an LA Times reporter reached out. Video game companies owned by Tencent will not be affected by this executive order. White House officials confirmed to the LA Times that the EO only blocks transactions related to WeChat, so Riot Games, League of Legends, Epic Games, Fortnite, et al. Will be safe. And they own a lot of stuff now, so that's good to hear. Again, the executive order I still think needs to be cleared by courts, but as far as the gaming aspect of it, it hopefully or does not affect it at all per this LA Times report. Going into some PlayStation news, so we saw probably what is expected, a report from Video Game Chronicle. Tom Ivan, God of War director, says PS5 SSD is just amazing. So God of War director Cory Barlog, he says it's pretty exciting to actually, there's a lot of stuff that we've been messing around with and seeing, especially for me, the SSD is just amazing, he said. I'm impatient and I don't like any kind of load times. We've gone to great lengths in this series, like all the way back to the PS2, of trying to hide any kind of loading so that you never really feel like you're having an artificial layer of game break you out of it. We let the menus do that all the time and upgrading and stuff. Again, that's what I'm most excited about is the SSDs. And again, is he speaking specifically about the PS5? Of course, but we might be able to expect a similar thing from Xbox, although the PS5 SSD is faster. Again, that has been speculated to maybe be overkill, but we'll see when everything comes out. Also, again, he says, I think the generations coming up feels like we might have to not go back to square one. We might just have to start wrapping our head around like, okay, now we can do all these other things where we are going to put the effort. Because at the end of the day, it is really a human effort put into all these games that even if you have all the tricks figured out in the first year, you still need 4 or 5 years to dig in and create something. He's referring to when things went from like the PS2, PS3, or vice versa, is that to really get the most out of these systems, you had to figure out what the system was going on. But the PS4 and PS5 are very similar in architecture, and there's not going to be that reinventing the wheel type of thing. So also there's a Sony State of Play that happened on August 6th. Quite a few things that happened with that. I'll talk about some of my favorite stuff and just do a quick overview. So number one, Crash Bandicoot was revealed more. We saw that it has remixed levels. Dingo Dial looks to be really rich and full, especially for people who are completionists. Again, that is a $60 price tag, and it is said to be bigger than Crash 1, 2, and 3 all combined, with quite a few levels. And then obviously a lot of the levels are completely remixed, giving you twice the amount of levels. I think there's something like 80 levels right now confirmed. There's going to be auto chess, controls expansion, so that nice control game called Awe, which is very exciting. That game looked really good. I haven't played it yet. For VR, we have Vader Immortal VR. We got a little bit bigger of a look at that. Big news, Hitman 1, 2, and 3 are all going to be entirely playable in VR. That is insane. That's a huge game. I don't have a VR yet. I'm definitely going to watch people. I think I want to wait till the next version of the PlayStation VR. I have no idea how long that will be. Bug Snacks, we saw some more gameplay. It's going to be first person. I did reveal that the gameplay centers around trapping these different Bug Snacks and finding out how they or what things that they like or how they control. Also, we saw Genshin Impact, which is crazy because that game was made famous by being a Zelda Breath of the Wild clone, specifically almost stealing assets from Zelda Breath of the Wild, going back to the Bubblikins and just how the fire looks and the arrows. It's really crazy how similar it looked, especially in previous screens of it. Also, Braid Anniversary come out. We saw a lot of gameplay for Spelunky 2, Hood Outlaws and Legends, which looks like a Robin Hood multiplayer type game. Temtem, which is that Pokemon game that was very popular on Twitch for a while. Godfall, we got an in-depth look at some of the battling mechanics and weaponry. The Pedestrian, which was a side-scroller puzzle game. So a few things happened. Number one, the Pathless. So I didn't mention the Pathless because this is one of, I would say, my outstanding games. Just looking at the movement and feel here, Looks like a beautiful game. You can really get some momentum. Now, they did show quite a bit of this, but this is definitely something I'm looking forward to. Looks like a great third-party game. Again, I'm sure most of these games will be available on other systems as well. So check out the path list. That was one of my standout games for sure. And then Aeon Must Die. So it's crazy. This particular trailer, now the developer came out and said the developer and publisher seem to be having issues. So this is coming out from the developer accordingly. This trailer was created with abuse, manipulation, and theft. Find out the truth about the development of the game here. People who have worked on every shot of this are no longer with the company holding IP rights. Some were not even paid for the work. The trailer has a pending conflict. Now, none of this is confirmed, but it does seem like the dev team up and quit fully after the PlayStation State of Play. Will this game be made? It seems to be a dispute between the developers and the publisher of the game. Very odd stuff. So go ahead and read into that what you will. Again, this Aeon Must Die with 19 subscribers, so they must have just launched this. So go ahead and check that out. Also, Herman Holtz at Guerilla. So again, he was promoted. They raised the flag to celebrate their brand new studio space in the heart of Amsterdam. So they have a brand new studio in Amsterdam. That is amazing. More Guerilla Studios is better. Of course, they're known for Killzone and then Horizon Zero Dawn and soon to be Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. So very, very excited for whatever that new studio will be working on or has been working on. Also, we talked this week about PlayStation exclusives. Now, Avengers revealed that Spider-Man is coming exclusively to PlayStation. A really shrewd, amazing move on Sony's side. Really sucks for anyone who doesn't have a PlayStation 4 but wants Marvel's Avengers, because in my opinion, he's the coolest Avenger and the one that I would want to play the most as. If I didn't have a PlayStation or a Sony PlayStation 4 and I wanted to play the Avengers, I simply probably would not get the Avengers or wait until I got a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. With that being said, apparently PlayStation or Sony will be having some huge third-party games as timed exclusives. This coming from VGC, but is referring to a kind of funny broadcast, which I did see, but just break it down here. So Kind of Funny's in Rom-Com claim that the video on Thursday that the public will be shocked to discover the caliber of titles Sony has secured for its next generation console. There are things that you'll be shocked to find out that Sony is money-heading. Like, they are locking up for timed exclusivity, he said. Like, wow, that's the game you're choosing. Not because it's bad, but because it's huge. So I'm interested to see where this conversation is going to be in a couple of months, because there are games that are widely accepted as multi-platform that Sony is locking up for a little while, he added. So I would not be shocked if they did some insane Avengers Spider-Man-like stuff. PlayStation has already announced, of course, Spider-Man, and then they are getting more timed exclusive stuff for Avengers, obviously the Spider-Man being the big one. So what do you think? What do you think they'll lock up? Maybe a Call of Duty type thing? Could be the next Titanfall? Obviously, really huge games. Maybe Suicide Squad, which we'll talk about later. Maybe the next Batman game, which would be insane. Those would be huge third-party games. Also, Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, officially reviewed here by Digital Foundry. Now, if you're looking at a great port, well, it appears to be a port, but it has a lot of issues. So again, we did see Death Stranding coming out to PC to much applause. Really, really good. Digital Foundry loved it, loved how it handled 4K and everything. Horizon Zero Dawn, not so much. So you can go ahead and check out their full 22-minute walkthrough. Just some quick explanation of what to expect. Very buggy for resolution. He had an issue getting it to full 4K resolution. It was doing this weird thing, would go to 4K, loop it through 1080p, then back to 4K, and end up really fuzzy and buggy. So we had to do a whole bunch of fixes, and it would never save the fixes. So every time he'd go back into the game, he would actually have to reset it. It's not well optimized at all. So he was running it on a GTX 1060, which should be able to run it as good, if not better, than a PS4 Pro. It can pretty much run any game better than a PS4 Pro currently, but he was saying that it was running under the PS4 Pro specs. Sometimes going over, but sometimes under, and he says that means it's very well not well optimized. Also, It can scale past the PS4 Pro, but you need a definitely higher end graphics card. Again, the 1060 is probably one of the more popular mid-level graphics cards out there. So go ahead and check it out if you're interested, but it seems like the PC port is not as good. It might be safer just getting it for $15-20 on a sale on the PS4 or the PS4 Pro. So go ahead and check that out if you are so interested. And Dr. Disrespect officially returns to streaming. What a weird case. I'm excited to eventually have all this come out. Again, it seems like he is no longer with Twitch. He is permabanned, and he has returned to streaming. This coming from The Verge, this time on YouTube. His first stream goes live tomorrow at 3 p.m. EDT, so today. The controversial streamer has permanently banned from Twitch as of late June for reasons still unknown. There, he signed an exclusive deal with Twitch back in March. Bame does not know a similar arrangement with YouTube, so he's completely open now. Sources close to Bame say that he plans to experiment with other platforms like Facebook Gaming and his own personal website, The Champions Club. Hopefully I'm saying his name correctly, but go ahead and check him out. Such a weird story is coming from Vajan Stefan. All right, Nintendo continues to do amazing sales, both good and bad for Nintendo, I feel. So we talk a lot about competition in this space. Right now, all the games companies are doing a phenomenal job. We talked about Zynga on Wednesday, how well they're doing. PlayStation is doing super well. Nintendo seems to be the big winner. So Japan Nintendo has reported a 428% jump in first quarter profits, driven by ongoing demand for a Switch console and popular games as COVID-19 outbreaks boost the industry. Nintendo has proved a winner of the pandemic as gamers flock to titles like Animal Crossing, which sold 10.6 million units in the first quarter, bringing its total sales to 22.4 million. That is insane for any game, insane for Animal Crossing, especially. It hasn't been seen for a while except on the 3DS, and then of course there is a mobile game. But how crazy is that? So this was just reported. Now we'll check out Animal Crossing again. 22.4 million. This is numbers reported by Nintendo Japan itself. The only other game above it is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which again launched super early in the system's life cycle. Super Smash Bros. Is actually below it. Breath of the Wild, which launched with this system. And then Pokemon Sword and Shield. Pokemon Sword and Shield is doing incredibly well at 18.22 million. This is disappointing to me, honestly. So I'll tell you why. Now, this is coming from Nintendo Life, Ryan Craddock here. The two games which serve as the 8th generation of mainline entries in the Pokemon franchise have now reached the 18.22 million units. The total number means that they've sneaked ahead of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, taking over the honor of being the third best-selling Pokemon games of all time. Only the world-dominating Pokemon Red and Blue and their successor Pokemon Gold and Silver have sold more, meaning that the Sword and Shield have become the most successful games in the franchise history since the mighty heights seen around the turn of the millennium. That's pretty impressive feat. So Gold and Silver 23 million and Pokemon Red and Blue 31.38 million. Of course, that was when max Pokemon Fever, and I argue we've continued to see Pokemon Fever on and off again. That's pretty insane. Gold and Silver by many is treated as the height of some of the games. And I'll tell you what, Nintendo Switch, I'm disappointed by this because the Pokemon Company isn't going to learn anything. By all accounts, this game was very okay. I mean, I played all the way through it. I'm playing through the DLC because I enjoy Pokemon and the franchise. But the game itself, man, it did not take advantage of any of kind of the big next-gen features that we'd want it to. Very lazy, in my opinion. We go ahead to look on. Pokemon is in no need of money. Pokemon for franchises is #1 selling franchise look of all time. This is according to a Wikipedia page, so take that for what you will. But they have 95 billion licensed merchandise at 64 billion. The video games itself at 19.533 billion. That is an insane amount of money. I mean, they have so much money that they can put back into the video games in development time and development resources. You know, we see all these amazing next-gen games that don't make a quarter as much as Pokemon does, and they make profit. I hope the next game we see in Pokemon is a big leap forward. I hope Temtem eats Pokemon's lunch if Pokemon can't provide, because I don't like seeing these massive sales when I don't think the games themselves were really deserving of it because of pretty much how lazy they were. And I love Pokemon. I played the game all the way through, and I'm playing through the DLC, and I'm excited for the next DLC, but they are widely disappointing to Pokemon fans, in my opinion. So take that for what you will. I'm excited that gaming is doing well and probably will do well the rest of this year into early 2021 at least. On the Xbox, so Xbox Big Gaming Weekend, you get to play for free online. Multiplayer will be unlocked for all Xbox One's consoles for everyone. No games with gold or gold pass. We're unlocking a bunch of games. So it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare for console, Gears 5 for console and PC, Black Desert for console, that's an MMORPG, Dragon Ball FighterZ Z for console, Monster Hunter World for console, Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited for console, Borderlands 3 for console, Subnautica for console and PC, Naruto to Boruto, Shinobi Striker for console, Ark Survival Evolved for console and PC. They've unlocked 6 Game Pass games and 4 on top of that. So go ahead and check that out if you're looking to play free online, if you don't have games with gold or your Game Pass games as well. Also, Microsoft, we saw earlier this week, remember I reported on Wednesday, Xbox Game Pass is launching on Android. They're having a special thing with Samsung. What about Apple iOS? That's what I'm concerned about. That's kind of my ecosystem for the most part. As you can see, I do have an Apple iPad. I would not play it on my phone. Even if I did have an Android or do have an Android, I would choose the iPad because it's just a bigger screen, and they have that wonderful crisp 120 hertz refresh rate, which would make a lot of sense with gaming. No, Apple being a huge big old D, but Apple has finally come out and said to Business Insider that these kinds of cloud services are in violation of App Store guidelines, and it cannot in their current forms exist on iOS. The primary reason they offer access to Apple can't even individually review, meaning Apple has Apple Arcade and they don't want any competing services. That sucks. I hate that because it locks you off from it. I won't be making, maybe a necessary purchase on that, but I would definitely get xCloud or XPass on the iPad immediately as soon as it was released. Microsoft released their own statement in response to this. Microsoft, a new statement given to The Verge on Thursday, says it could not find a solution in bringing xCloud to iOS via the App Store, and it now pins the blame solely on Apple. It says Apple stands alone in denying customers the benefit of cloud gaming, and that it consistently treats gaming apps differently by applying more lenient rules to non-gaming apps. Microsoft plans to continue looking for a way to bring cloud gaming and Xbox Game Pass Unlimited to iOS devices, but is unclear of how to do so. Hopefully we get to see something, probably not in the near future, probably not in the next year. That really sucks, really puts a damper on XPass or Game Pass and xCloud for me, but I will continue to use it on my PC, and of course you can enjoy it on your Xbox as well. We have seen Suicide Squad was hinted at today, and it has been hinted at for a very long time. This is essentially official confirmation. This coming from Games Radar. Rocksteady will be making Suicide Squad. Rocksteady, of course, known for the Batman trilogy, a wonderful developer. Suicide Squad is not necessarily my cup of tea. I didn't really love the movie, and then you had that Harley Quinn movie, which was fine. I thought it was okay, but we will see. Hopefully they won't develop it after the movie. They really haven't. Hopefully they'll make their own world. I trust Rocksteady. So, the developer of Batman Arkham Knight has finally revealed the next game, Suicide Squad. Rocksteady Games on Twitter announced and shared a teaser image for the project, telling fans to expect more news at online DC fandom event set for August 22nd. The image shows a character who looks quite a bit like Superman turned away from the camera, with Suicide Squad logo set over his head like a crosshairs. If you zoom in, again, it's purple. He has a little eye flutter. People are speculating this could actually be Bizarro, who has taken the form essentially Superman before. So really interesting. What does that mean for Suicide Squad? Who will you be playing as? I don't know. I'm excited for this to be a solely first-person game. The Avengers, I wish that was like a solely first-person game, but it's more of a games as a service. I hope that is not the format this takes. Rocksteady is known for making the first-person or single-player Batman games, so hopefully we'll see that here. After years of uncertainty, Rocksteady's path finally did seem when online domain registrations for Suicide Squad websites, including one for Suicide Squad KillTheJusticeLeague.com, were traced back to the studio in June. Now we only have to wait until August 22nd to see more for this long-awaited project. And then we have Jason Schreier adding in a little bit more, coming from Bloomberg, I think he's at now. Some added context for today's announcement. WB Montreal was working on Suicide Squad game until it was canceled in late 2016. At some point, end of 2016, 2017, Rocksteady started theirs. The game will be teased at DC Fandom, but I wouldn't expect it for a while. Somebody says fall 2021. He says I don't think so. So people are speculating that there'll be a short teaser, but we probably won't see the game for a while. Jason Schreier would definitely know. Alright guys, well that does it for the news for today. We had quite a bit to cover, quite a bit happened this week in general. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Hope you enjoy Reflections with Matt as well. Let me know down below what you're excited for, what you're disappointed in. Are you excited that Sony is going to have more exclusives? I know I'll be getting the PlayStation 5 unless it's like $1,000 maybe, but you know, that won't affect me. I will be a benefactor of that. So hopefully Sony continues to do well by its fans. Xbox may have to battle back a little bit and get some of its own exclusive, because that is what we're seeing is working so far. And I think Sony right now has the upper hand as far as consoles. We'll see in the future as far as Game Pass, and then of course Sony has PlayStation Now. Alright guys, well we're going to jump into the cookie review. If you haven't yet, again, like, follow, subscribe, and then we're going to try these lovely cookie butter sandwich cookies coming from Trader Joe's. If you're not familiar with cookie butter, this is kind of Trader Joe's own concoction. They make cookie butter ice cream. At one point they made cookie butter kind of peanut butter cups. They're fantastic. So these are kind of shortbread cookies, like a butter cookie. Inside you have the cookie sandwich, the cookie butter, almost like an Oreo. Now cookie butter has this really warm, now if you're talking spices, you have pepper spices, you have red spices, then you have things like baking spices, so you can include cinnamon, nutmeg in that. It smells a lot like cinnamon and nutmeg. Really tasty. You can definitely smell like a brown butter, brown sugar for sure in there. Let's do a density test. Crumbles like the cookie. I've had these before, by the way, long time before, but I've had them before. Definitely crumbles. The flavor is fantastic. Number one. Number two, my hair is very long. Okay. Crumbles nicely. I can take it apart, but I wouldn't suggest it. It's not like Oreos where there's like a cake of frosting. It just kind of smears. So don't do that. But again, this is kind of like a tea cookie because it's a butter cookie. It's very crumbly. So tea cookie, coffee cookie, milk. Definitely have a bite. Drink that. A really fantastic. I highly recommend these. I mean, when I've had them before, I just destroy this box. So for my girlfriend out there, sorry, you might be getting just a few of them, but highly recommend it. I would give this a great out of a great cookie. This is one of Trader Joe's better cookies for sure. They have some pretty good ones, and so that's some high praise. Go ahead and check out these cookie butter cookie sandwiches. Highly recommended by yours truly, Matt of Sodi Pop, right here on YouTube. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Remember, follow me on the 3 T's and IG, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram. I'm Maddie. Go have yourself a wonderful weekend. Remember,
be yourself
and eat those cookies, the cookie buddy ones. Bye.